Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Faith and Fandom Feedback Friday podcast. Hope y'all are doing well. Coming to you from the Friday of Memorial Day weekend, about to head into all the shenanigans afoot in terms of activities for the weekend. I hope you do have a great Memorial Day weekend, and if you've got someone in your family or community that has experienced loss of a service member, that you can celebrate them and be encouraged as much as possible. Yeah, we're going to jump in. A lot's going on. First off, I'm just going to throw this out there. Book 10 is officially out. Voila. Um, this is the only cover. This is the only copy I've got currently. I got it like right after the podcast last week or sometime. I don't know. It came way later than it was supposed to. But like it always cracks me up when I publish with Amazon and the book doesn't exist and they're saying, yeah, we'll have it to you in 2 days. I'm like, no, you won't. You're going to have a shipping issue or it's going to get stuck somewhere because this book doesn't exist. You shenanigans. Um, but Tristan, good morning. Um, yeah, book 10 is out. I've seen one other person post photos of it. Um, and I've intentionally not looked at the metrics of sales and stuff like that because I don't care or have the time to really focus on that right now. It's not like I did a hard push. I think I did two posts about it. It's been coming. It's here, and I know it's for cons more than anything else. But I am excited it's here. Some other cool stuff I want to show you. There is a artist on Instagram that I found that I really enjoy their stickers. Um, this is one of my favorite moments from anime. The Robin I Want to Live sticker. Um, it's holographic and it says someday you'll find true friends, and it's one of the best moments in anime to me, period, or any medium. I think that's one of the times that broke my heart the most, but also like with hope at the same time. Got this "Do you want to live deliciously" sticker. This one's probably going on my Bible. Um, uh, hold on. I think my dog wants to come inside. Un memento. You couldn't see that sticker either. What you fussing at? Come on. Come on, come on. Go ahead. Scoot your boot. Go ahead. Yo. Sorry. Uh, Tristan, thank you. I appreciate it, man. I know the art, but like it's one of those things of uh what's up, Steven? Good morning. Um, but yeah, this delicious and dungeon sticker. But I was just one of those things, you live with something so long, it's like you get tired of hearing about it. There's also another One Piece one of the Going Merry, and there's actually a chapter specifically on this in book 10, Going Merry and Letting Go. This is when the Going Merry basically rescued the Straw Hats purely out of love. And it says, "Don't worry, I'll carry everyone a little bit longer." Such a great moment. Um, yeah, and there's a few other ones, but like those are my favorites. But definitely love those. I wish the I Want to Live one, not that it wasn't so big, but that I'd left more space on my Bible because I would love that dead center on my Bible, but I'd have to move some other stickers, and that's a tricky road to go down. Either way, also when I get to then, I'm going to talk about seeing Napoleon Dynamite live, um, which is an experience where they show the movie, then Napoleon, Pedro, and Uncle Rico put on a stage show. And it was one of the craziest, most fun experiences I've ever had. Um, like just in terms of unexpected, like what is happening. So, let's jump into some news. Uh, just want to throw this out there. Andor is officially ended. And I'm a dork because I thought it ended with episode 9. So I had formed my whole opinion on the series based on just 9 episodes, not realizing there were 12. And, all of it's great. So, uh, Andor is officially over and is going to go down as probably one of the best Star Wars series ever. Uh, but one of the cool things is the young lady who played um, Kayla, Kayla. I'm going to say her name wrong, but the actress Elizabeth Dulau, who played one of the main characters in Andor season 2, it was her first acting job. Like literally, she got done with school and immediately got picked up for the show, and she totally nailed it. So I just thought that was great coming out of it. Um, Taylor Swift has a song about a holiday house where uh, murder and things happen, and uh, like mysterious going-ons and social stuff take place. Um, well, at her holiday house, a body was discovered a few hundred yards from her holiday house, in her where her Rhode Island mansion is, and they're currently investigating it. But it's really funny, not that there's a dead person, but it literally matches up to her song about getting rid of bodies and stuff like that. Um, so I don't think that Taylor Swift is a murderer, and I don't think she's like literally dumping bodies. And if she did, she'd do a better job than to dump them at her house, where she has a song about um, dumping bodies. But I just thought that was funny and ironic. Um, Ralph Fiennes will officially take over to play President Snow in the upcoming Hunger Games prequel, Rise of the Reaping, or Sunrise on the Reaping. My dude's literally going from Harry Potter to Hunger Games, and that's going to be pretty great. Good morning, Santana. I'm late enough that you can actually join in this morning. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, Ralph Fiennes will be jumping in to take over the role of President Snow in the prequel. There's also more President Snow or more prequel stuff going in with this as well. The Legend of Aang will be the animated movie that will come after Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it will be released in theaters on October 9th, 2026. Um, so we're officially getting an Aang movie. It'll still be the whole Avatar crew, but it's Aang, respectfully. You did finally catch me live. I'm excited. Um, Antonio Brown, NFL player, was arrested this past week at Aiden Ross's unboxing event in Miami, after firing shots at individuals who tried to steal his chain. Um, First of all, who's going to try and steal an NFL player's chain? Like, where are you at? What are you doing? Um, and the fact that he fired shots at them but didn't shoot them, should be kind of like a, hey, I was being nice. But he was arrested for that. Um, there was a tragedy this week with New York and the Mexican Navy, as a Mexican Navy sailing ship hit the Brooklyn Bridge on Saturday. The sailing ship was on a promotional tour, and three of the masts ended up being higher than they should have been, I guess, based on the water levels or whatever else. And the Mexican Navy ship crashed all three masts into the Brooklyn Bridge, and there were fatalities. And from my understanding, they were all of the naval crew, but literally, there's many videos of this sailing ship crashing into the Brooklyn Bridge while people are on it, and three of the masts were broken off at the top. So, uh, it's, it's just one of those things that you think there's no way people don't know the height of their vessel versus the height of the water in the bridge. But like we be peopling sometimes. And I'm sorry for that loss of life with that. Uh, if you are a manga fan, anime fan, or just like eclectic things, you might be a fan of Scott Pilgrim. If you're a fan of Scott Pilgrim, you might need to head over to your local Ollie's. Ollie's has the complete Scott Pilgrim book collection, the entire story of Scott Pilgrim. In I want to say it's 10 to 12 graphic novels. And normally this box set is $250. It is currently at Ollie's for $50 or less. Um, so if you're a collector, you might want to jump on that. They have them both in black and white and colored. Um, this past week, a 31-year-old man died in the Brooklyn Marathon, half marathon. Um, just heart gave out, and condolences to his family. But also, that's just one of those things of you never know how good of a place you're at physically. Um, Brock Lesnar's daughter, Maya, won her fourth shot put title. And if you've seen Maya Lesnar, she looks as much like Brock Lesnar as Brock Lesnar does, just without a beard. Um, but yes, she won her fourth title. Darby Allin became the first wrestler to ever climb Mount Everest. The AEW star took a whole team to climb Mount Everest, and atop Mount Everest flew an AEW flag and did Diamond Dallas Page's diamond cutter symbol from the top of Mount Everest. Diamond Dallas Page was responsible in part for Darby Allin making it up there alive because Darby Allin had intended to, air quotes, raw dog Mount Everest and just go hike it on his own with no instruction. And instead, Diamond Dallas Page told him to get coaches and trainers and to hire a team to help him get up there. And he is confident that he would have died had he not done that. So, Darby Allin, first professional wrestler to do Mount Everest. Um, Josh Freese, the drummer for the Foo Fighters, was fired after 2 years. He took over after Taylor passed away, and the band announced that they are going in a different direction and let him go. So Josh Freese is no longer the drummer for the Foo Fighters. There's some more drumming news later. Former President Biden was diagnosed with prostate cancer this week, and cancer is never a easy diagnosis, and especially when dealing with the elderly, it's its own special battles. But President Biden diagnosed with that. There were at least two deaths in the Mexican sailing ship and 27 injuries. So, or yes, over 27 injuries with that. Um, a missing camper was found alive after being lost for 3 weeks in the California mountains. So let's just give a round of applause for that because if you can survive 3 weeks in the wilderness, you're a gangster. She fought off animals, boiled snow, and hiked up to 11,000 feet. This woman from Georgia uh, managed to survive a full survival trip. So congratulations on that. Glad she was found. Sesame Street was rescued from being fully canceled and with no place to go. It will Sesame Street moving forward will officially be on Netflix. New episodes will premiere on Netflix, and there will be a partnership where they can still appear on PBS and other places. But Netflix will now be the home of Sesame Street. Um, Steam, the mobile gaming, or not mobile gaming, the Steam Deck is mobile gaming, but Steam, the streaming gaming platform of using your computer or a Steam Deck or things like that, is officially starting a process that you can will your video game collection to other people. Yeah, Santana PBS is slipping, but like it's not that PBS is slipping, it's that and the government funding for PBS is slipping. Um, and they're not going to be able to do Sesame Street, by my understanding. So they had to find a new home. Previously, for the last handful of years, HBO Max has been housing uh, Sesame Street, and they're letting that contract slip, which is not necessarily that they have to keep it, but it wasn't as profitable as they wanted. And PBS was like, no, we don't have the money. But either way, it's fine. They're surviving now. You'll be able to pass down your entire video game library in a will format, so that if you die, your children can have your video games or whoever you bequeath your gaming collection to. Stanford scientists have created a molecule that causes cancer cells to self-destruct. It is in the early stages, and the success rate of what they've been doing has been viable. And this could be a future uh, quick working treatment for cancer if it continues to progress as it looks like. Um, yeah. Elle Fanning will be joining the Hunger Games prequel, Sunrise on the Reaping, as Effie Trinket. So we now have the majority of the cast in those ways. George Wendt, who played Norm on Cheers, passed away this week. Also, if you weren't aware, George Wendt, Norm, is the uncle of Ted Sudeikis, who plays Ted Lasso. So that was just an interesting piece of trivia. But George Wendt did pass away this week. This past weekend, or no, this past Monday, wrestling performer Zoe Stark suffered a horrendous injury as she landed a jump kick or a drop kick improperly. And people are also saying that it might be result of the fact that the person was in the wrong place. Um, Kyrie Singh, I believe. But Zoe Stark landed the wrong way and her knee broke and it went the wrong way. And so if you watch Monday Night Raw on Netflix from this past week, or just get on TikTok to any of the places, you can see her knee go the complete opposite direction, and you can hear it, which is horrendous. But wishing a speedy recovery to Zoe Stark because, ouch. Um, Bill Belichick and his former girlfriend, now fiance Jordan Hudson, are engaged. There is an 49-year age gap between the two. Not that, numbers matter, but the 73-year-old is engaged to the 24-year-old. If you're a fan of the Cubs or the TV show Reacher, then you were in a treat this past week. Um, Santana says no, thank you. Um, uh, Reacher filmed an episode of the upcoming season at a Cubs game this past week. So you can check both of those out. Or the Reacher series will probably be like a year from now, but still. Um, Harvard Law School bought a copy of the Magna Carta for $27 that they thought was a copy, and it turned out it was an actual original copy of the Magna Carta. Um, but they thought they were buying a copy. Um, but it was a rare original from 1300, and they got it for 27 bucks. Santana says, I am a fan of Reacher, but I need to watch season three. I'm about halfway through season three. Um, and I love Alan Richardson, and I'm excited for the show, but it's just one of those, it hasn't been like that. I think that and Daredevil are both, I'm kind of like at the same point where I need to finish both of those. Uh, World's Finest, the combo comic book of Batman and Superman, issue 40, which comes out on June 18th, will feature Stephen Colbert on the cover with Superman and Batman on the Colbert Show. And this will be kind of coming out just a couple of weeks before the Superman movie. Um, but yeah, it's got Superman promoting a book on the Colbert Show. So if you are a collector of comic books or covers or just like Stephen Colbert, you need to pick up World's Finest issue number 40, which will be on stands June 18th. Avatar: The Last Airbender season 3 um will be um it's in the process of filming right now. They're officially in production. The cast posted photos this past week of them wearing their season 3 hats of the Fire Nation. So they are, almost done. They're getting there. Do, 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 do. Uh, if you said, man, there's not enough flavor of Oreos out there, and I need someone else to give me a Oreo alternative, you're in luck. You probably also don't exist. Um, but there will be limited edition signature Selena Gomez Oreos coming to shelves on June 9th. So if you've ever said, hey, I need my Oreos to have more Selena Gomez, now's your chance. Uh, this is following in the wake of the Post Malone Oreos. But yes, Selena Gomez Oreos will hit shelves June 9th. This past week, what's the show? Handmaid's Tale. Tristan Birch says there's too many. I prefer Tim Tams. Man, we don't get Tim Tams over on this side. I don't know what the flavor is, Santana, but it's her signature recipe for them or preference. I don't know. It's weird. I didn't try the Post Malone ones either. I'm just like, they haven't had a celebrity announce that says I want to taste your Oreo, for me yet. Um, Taylor Swift, if you are familiar with how she's operated for the past hot minute, is that she has been going through the albums that previous record companies owned, re-recording them, remastering them, and releasing them as her own so that she gets the full rights and keeps the money herself, which is a business practice that was started by Reba McEntire, and has transcended to a lot of other musicians, including Switchfoot, who did that with their 20th anniversary of The Beautiful Letdown. The only album, to my understanding, left for Taylor Swift to do is the Reputation album. And people have long been waiting, Swifties have long been waiting for that one to be remade. This past week, in a pivotal moment of The Handmaid's Tale, Taylor Swift was in the soundtrack with a new Taylor's version of the song "Look What You Made Me Do," at a pivotal moment in the series. And so it is basically a giant spoiler slash preview that the Taylor Swift Reputation remake album is coming. And that will end the Taylor's versions of the things because she's owned everything since 2017. Yep. So that's a thing. And news that I'm so excited about. Um, so this past week was 1 year since 21 Pilots dropped their album Clancy, uh, and which has been one of my favorite albums. Two of my favorite songs of the last hot minute are on there. I actually have a sticker of one right here. Oldies Station and Navigating by 21 Pilots. One is emo, one is hardcore. Both have the same heart. It's very, like, much my favorite album of 2024. Um, they just hit 1 year. They also just finished a year-long tour, where they've been on the road both in America and internationally. And so, one of the things that 21 Pilots has done in the past is when they are taking a break, they'll use a social media countdown to announce they're taking a break, where they'll have a picture of an eyeball and the eyelid slowly closes. And once the eye closes, you've got like a 2 year break, a 3 year break, something for them to take a rest. And so last week, the eyeball premiered as the profile icon, and people were assuming it was counting down 5 days until they took a break. Instead, when the eye got near to closed, they announced they have a new full-length album called Breach that will be here in September. And the first song from Breach, called The Contract, will come out June 12th. And if you're aware that ever since their album Blurry Face, they've been doing a storyline, like a whole, like, actual storytelling apparatus through their videos and songs, and this will be the end of that storyline. So Breach will come out in September. First track will drop June 12th. Uh, and they've announced this week several actors being chosen for an upcoming live action interpretation of Street Fighter. Now, Street Fighter has never had an amazing movie, but if you go back to the 90s, you had Raul Julia playing M. Bison. You had the young lady who plays uh, Mulan and Fennec Shan playing uh, Chun-Li at the time. There were great actors in there. I want to say Mark Dacascos was in there. And there's been a lot of Street Fighter movies since then, but none that have ever set like a gold standard saying this is amazing. Well, uh, I don't know all of these actors personally that have been tapped, but Andrew Koji, Noah Centineo, I don't know. Amanda, happy Friday. Um, but Jason Momoa will be in the new Street Fighter. But here's what got me pumped. Here's what got me uh ready to go for this. Um Roman Reigns, the tribal chief of the WWE, um has been put into the Street Fighter movie. Now here's the deal. If they cast Roman Reigns as M. Bison, this has the potential to be fierce. Because Roman Reigns could 1,000% pull off M. Bison, and I'm here for that. I would acknowledge M. Bison as my combat chief, um, and I really hope that that's the route it goes. There's a million directions they can go with it, but Roman Reigns, Street Fighter, it's going down. Santana, are you a Roman Reigns fan? Listen, that dude is a fierce man. Um, yeah. The Indiana Colts owner, Jim Irsay, passed away at age of 65. He's been the owner of the team since 1997. So he's a big deal. With that, in Fayetteville, which is local to me, this past Wednesday or Tuesday, Tuesday, um, there was a shooting at the Wendy's on Skyby Road, which is directly in the Target parking lot, which poured into the Target parking lot of people that got in an argument in Wendy's, and it turned into a gunfight in the Target parking lot. So, also, don't do that, people. That's a horrible life choice. Um, I'm really excited about this. If you've ever seen PBS, while they still have the money, um, does Masterpiece Theater. And when PBS does Masterpiece Theater, they create fantastic television, like Downton Abbey, like Mercy Street, like Around the World in 80 Days with David Tennant. They do fantastic things. PBS has announced that they are going to be doing The Count of Monte Cristo, um, which is one of my hands down favorite pieces of fiction. And yeah, but they're doing the Count of Monte Cristo, and it's going to be happening in 2026. And I'm just so freaking pumped. I can't wait to watch PBS Masterpiece do Count of Monte Cristo. So we go from Count of Monte Cristo, PBS Masterpiece, cinema, to Michael Bay, the man that brought us the original Transformer live action film, and the man who brought us countless overly actioned movies, is now in production to make a Skibbity Toilet movie. If you don't know what Skibbity Toilet is, your life is better for that. And I'm not going to pour the time into telling you what it is. But Michael Bay is making a Skibbity Toilet movie. And I'm going to leave that right there and move on to other news. Takeshi Yamakaze, the people that brought us Godzilla Minus One says that the next Godzilla film, solo Godzilla film, will be a direct sequel to Godzilla Minus One. Again, this has nothing to do. Santana, I'm not lying. There will be a Skibbity Toilet live action movie. Um, but Godzilla Minus One is getting a direct sequel. So, well, Santana Jeremiah is about to have the time of his life with a Skibbity Toilet movie. The Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up, will be streaming on Max starting June 28th. That's good. If you're a fan of The Office Ladies podcast has officially hit 100 million streams on Spotify. They got an award for that. In Allenton, North Carolina, which is technically Lumberton, it's the country of Lumberton. A murder suspect was caught by police in Allenton, North Carolina on Thursday morning, not too far from a lot of my friends' homes. But yeah, uh, the Michael Schur, who you may not know, dude, it is HBO Max. They changed the name back. Um, uh, yeah, but Michael Schur, who you may not know as an actor, but you know as a creator because he's one of the people that brought you The Office, Parks and Recreation, Black Mirror, The Good Place, and a million other comedy. Yeah, Santana, you used to live in Allenton. Um, yeah, but Michael Schur, who is primarily known as a writer and producer, you might know him as Mose from The Office, got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame this week. He was joined on the Walk of Fame by Amy Poehler and Ted Danson to celebrate. The first Snoopy musical or Peanuts musical in 35 years. Santana, you never seen any of those shows? I understand completely. I know him from The Office and Parks and Recreation, but he's responsible for creating a lot of comedy sitcoms. Um, but there is a new movie, Snoopy Presents a Summer Musical. It will be the first Peanuts musical in 35 years, and it will drop on Apple TV on July 18th, and it will also feature songs from Emmy Award nominee Jeff Morrow and Ben Folds. So a Snoopy summer camp musical will be coming. If you are a fan of Michael B. Jordan or anime or any of the things, Michael B. Jordan is a huge anime geek, and to the point that he actually designed some of uh, War. What was his name in Black Panther? Um, Either way, Michael B. Jordan's character in Black Panther actually designed his outfit after Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. Um, and there's even anime references in the Creed movies and things like that. But Michael B. Jordan uh, was heartbroken over the fact that he missed the IMAX release of Princess Mononoke, which is a Studio Ghibli anime film from way back when. But Killmonger, that's the words. I was about to say Warmonger, dude. I was like, in my head, I was thinking Warmonger. Thank you. It's I couldn't get the words right. Um, but he was heartbroken that he missed the Princess Mononoke IMAX release because he was working on Sinners. It was only out a certain weekend and he really wanted to go. And he got interviewed about what some of the hardest things in making Sinners was. And he said it was the fact that he missed the Princess Mononoke re-release. So IMAX and Studio Ghibli paired together to give Michael B. Jordan his own private with friends screening of Princess Mononoke, just because they wanted to, you know, let him have his flowers. So he got his own private Studio Ghibli screening. Studio Ghibli, I and IMAX, I too am also very sad at all of the Studio Ghibli movies I've not watched in IMAX. If any of you care, I would love screenings. Just throwing that out there. Um, yes. If you're planning to go see Disney's Lilo and Stitch this weekend, the live action remake, just go ahead and tell you there is a mid-credit scene. Um, so before you bolt out, there is a mid-credit scene. Don't go too far. The Indy 500 is going to hold the first ever Wienermobile race. Um, this will be it's the first time in 10 years. It's the first time in 10 years that all six Wienermobiles will be in the same location. And then they are going to have a race with all six vehicles, and it's the first time they've been together in 10 years. But I don't know about you, but personally speaking, I'm more excited to watch a Wienermobile race than the Indy 500. That's just me. I think that's more fun. But it's a thing. Uh, just in terms of, I'm not a doomsday person. I am not a the world is ending person. That's just not my jam. But in terms of just general precaution, it would be probably good for you to have some batteries, water, and extra stuff just on tap. Um, uh, yeah, Santana, I know anime is a totally different language to a lot of people, believe me. There's still plenty of anime that I don't have a clue what it is. Um, but scientists have warned that next week, uh, that we could potentially be facing some solar energy storms. There's going to be some stuff that's going on with the sun next week, which could potentially cause some power outages. And scientists say that if there is a genuine solar storm, we're not exactly prepared for how to fight against that. So just a heads up, it's not like the world is ending, but we might have some inconveniences, so be aware. A24 and the director of Civil War are going to be bringing a live action Elden Ring movie to theaters. So if you're a fan of Elden Ring, uh, there you go. Um, Already some sad news for the MCU moving forward. While they are fresh on the heels of the success of Thunderbolts, Marvel has announced that they are going to be moving back the next two Avengers movies. Marvel, or sorry, Avengers Doomsday is moving from May 2026 to December 2026, and Secret Wars will be moving further back into December of 2027. Um, so they will come out 1 year apart, and they will be tackling Christmas. So you can plan for the next two Christmases after this one to have an Avengers movie to go see in theaters. So they will play back to back, like year to year. But yeah. Kieran Culkin is on a hot streak right now of winning Academy Award, Golden Globes, Emmys, Screen Actors Guild, either for the show Succession or for his role in the movie A Real Pain. Uh, but his next big role that he is tackling is taking on the role of Caesar Flickerman, Stanley, previously portrayed by Stanley Tucci in The Hunger Games. He will be playing Caesar Flickerman in the Hunger Games prequel Sunrise on the Reaping. So that's three Hunger Games people just this week. And he's a great choice for it. He'll nail that. Um, Jordan made a great point. He says, "You think the delay is because they may be redoing the script to add more Spider-Man since Sony and Marvel made a deal?" That's quite possible, dude. Because listen, if Sony, like, I haven't seen the details on the Sony Marvel deal, but if Sony and Marvel have officially arrived at a solid deal, it could change the future for everything because that opens up a lot of properties. But yeah, I think there's definitely stuff to that. And honestly, if they've looked at the landscape of what movies are coming out and they think they can own two Christmases in a row, um, that's almost better than summer blockbusters because if they've got a lot more summer blockbusters to compete with, um, Christmas is a more solid choice. That's why Lord of the Rings owned three Christmases in a row. Yeah. There is a new Silent Hill game coming, Silent Hill F, which is a completely new title to the Silent Hill franchise, and they're advertising it as you don't have to have played any other Silent Hill games to jump in and play this. So if you're interested in horror, creepiness, and like scary children and stuff like that, based on the uh, photos, Silent Hill F is going to be an option for you. As always, Resident Evil guy. Um, Never means you can't do it. Um, Uh, Pokemon Go has unveiled a new $100 Premier Access ticket upgrade for its upcoming Go Fest in Jersey City. If you're not aware, annually there are these things called Pokemon Go Fest where they have uh, real world rewards and interactions where people will all go to some major city on a continent and play Pokemon Go together for challenges and adventures. They usually do somewhere in the US, somewhere in Asia, somewhere in Europe, somewhere on those lines. Um, and they're upgrading real world improvements that if you get the $100 upgraded pass, you get better restrooms while you're there. So they are literally going to have dope bathrooms that you can use, and buying this Pokemon pass will get you access to the good bathrooms. Now, Pokemon Go was recently sold to a different company. This sounds like some new company tactics. Either way, I think that's crazy. Uh, uh, I've not been to one of those fests, just because there have always been in major cities. Um, I have been to some events, like I went to one event in Atlanta just because I was in Atlanta when it happened. Um, if there was ever one that I legitimately had time and resources to go to, I would 100% do it. I just have not had time, resources, and the availability to make that happen. Um, Conan O'Brien will be voicing a character in Toy Story 5. Just throwing that out there. Scrubs is coming back for a reboot, and Zach Braff has officially rejoined the reboot as JD. So Scrubs is getting the gang back together. Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers put out a big testimony this week about his faith journey and how much that God means more to him than everything else, which is great to read. Brandon Lake returned American Idol for a moving duet with a young lady named Brianna Nix as they perform Daddy's DNA, um, which is one of Brandon Lake's songs. Jimmy Kimmel became a grandfather this week, and he missed only his second show of the Jimmy Kimmel Show in 22 years. So to see the birth of his grandchild, that's cool. Lady Gaga is now one award away from being an EGOT winner, because she won a sports Emmy for her Super Bowl song. So she got her Emmy from a song at the Super Bowl. So now she is just one award away from being this generation's new EGOT winner. Jensen Ackles has a new series called Countdown. If you know Dean Winchester from Supernatural, he's got a show called Countdown coming. There is a Fountain of Youth movie that stars John Krasinski and Natalie Portman, and this it's supposed to be like the next National Treasure slash Indiana Jones type adventure movie, and apparently almost killed everyone a few times. Natalie Portman and John Krasinski both were almost drowned while filming it, and John Krasinski's character in the Fountain of Youth has a limp that is now a real life condition for the John Krasinski because his legs gave out on him and locked up in a weird way while he was chasing a train in the film. So he now walks with a limp, which I'm assuming he's working on getting corrected. But he tried, there's a scene where he had to chase down a train and his legs literally just gave out on him. And now he walks with a limp. Uh, Jelly Roll brought out Eminem for a guest performance of Lose Yourself this week, um, as the two have been long famous friends. Uh, Mentioned that Foo Fighters fired their drummer this week. Another band fired their drummer. The Who fired drummer Zach Starkey for the second time. They previously fired Zach Starkey just a couple months ago or less, and then hired him back, and now they fired him for a second time. He says the time has come for a change. They're done with that. The pop star Pink is married to Corey Hart, who is a famous motocross racer, if you follow that world. Um, and he was dramatically wounded and suffered serious intestinal injuries after a motocross crash this past week. Hannah Waddington from Ted Lasso, plays Rebecca, has stated that Ted Lasso season 4 begins filming this summer. Will be heading our way. Covered that. That one. Mhm. Chris Brown was arrested in London last week for a 2023 bar fight with a bottle. He was released on $6.7 million bail. $6.7 million bail. That's bonkers. Um, but he's out. Texas has officially banned all marijuana and weed THC things, so like edibles, dispensaries, and things like that, in a new law. And people are upset because they think it's going to raise the crime rate and give drug cartels and things like that more incentive to invest in the area. 9 prison inmates broke out of a New Orleans jail, which is crazy go nuts. Um, According to scientists at the Radboud University in the Netherlands, they have a rough date of when the universe will end. They have stated, based on all of their calculations, that the universe will go dark, and hear me for this word, in 1 quinvigintillion years. That is 1 quinvigintillion years, which means that is a 1 followed by 78 zeros. Based on their calculations, that's how long the universe has got. So, y'all let me know. I won't be here. There was a dramatic tornado that went through Kentucky and Missouri on Friday and our last Friday, and did a lot of damage there. So this is one of those areas that are going to need some love and care if you're out there. Um, if you're a fan of YouTube, so they don't know. Jordan says that sounds like a made up number. Technically, dude, all numbers are made up numbers, but I feel you. But Quinvigtillion, come on, man. That sounds like a bad uh alien character in a Marvel movie. Um, but if you're a fan of TikTok or YouTube, you might know the Outdoor Boys, a channel that is usually a dude trying to survive in snow in the wilderness and building camps and doing crazy things. Um, they've officially retired their YouTube channel this week because he says the fame is becoming too much and it's getting in the way of their life and their families. And they may return someday, but he's retiring the channel because he doesn't want the fame to become an issue, which is a nice thing for someone to like set that off to the side instead of, embracing it. If you weren't aware, Hooters filed for bankruptcy a little bit ago, and now they have someone who is possibly swooping in to save the day with a straight up cash offer to buy the franchise. And it is none other than the not loved now Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is looking to purchase um, Hooters to be able to further promote his real American beer. And yeah, thinks he can reshape the property. So that just might be a thing that's happening. There's a famous spot in China called the Drum Tower in Fangyang. Um, Out of nowhere, with no real provocation, the tower collapsed on while tourists were standing around taking photos and things like that, and it just straight up collapsed from pure age. Um, Gratefully, with all of that, nobody was hurt. They managed to drop an entire tower and no one be hurt. Greece experienced a 6.1 magnitude earthquake this week, which is crazy. And then also, just a heads up, there is a new animated movie about Jesus called The Light of the World, which will be in theaters this fall. And it will be told from the perspective of John, the Apostle John, the one that Jesus loved, as he likes to refer to himself. So, new animated movie on Jesus coming up. All right, that is our news. And we're going to get to our Roll for Initiative Bible reading. Before I do that, I want to take a quick moment to tell you about Napoleon Dynamite Live. This is one of those things where Facebook advertising absolutely won. Like they nailed it. I randomly saw an ad for Napoleon Dynamite Live, and it was going to be taking place in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is only an hour and a half for me or less. Um, in Santana, I always think it's funny that John writes in his Gospels, the one that Jesus loved, like, which just dramatically implies he didn't love the rest of them like he loved me. But I get to write that down because it's my book, you know. I get it. It's author's bias, but dang, homie. Um, yeah, Napoleon Dynamite Live. This year or last year is the 20th anniversary of Napoleon Dynamite. And so what they did was they brought or they showed the movie of Napoleon Dynamite in a big theater, not a movie theater, but like a stage theater. And then three of the stars of Napoleon Dynamite, um, Napoleon, Pedro, and Uncle Rico came out to do a live stage show. Now, I expected this just to be some Q&A or something like that, but they put on a ridiculous experience. The experience started out with Uncle Rico, who has actually been a big star recently with the TV series White Lotus. Um, Uncle Rico coming out to playing a fierce electric blues guitar and just like straight shredding some blues music. Then Pedro pops out from the other side of the stage playing a blues harmonica. And then for a solid 5 minutes, Rico and Pedro just have a just bonkers musical experience. Then Napoleon Dynamite comes riding a bicycle down through the theater aisles and pulls out a beat maker slash MIDI keyboard and starts making beats to their blues music before leading them in song and doing all this. And so I'm just sitting there like, what is actually happening? And just in complete shock of what I'm seeing. The rest of the night progressed to be them doing Q&A, them reenacting scenes, them interacting with audience members, and they gave away chapsticks from a fanny pack. Certain people in the audience won autographed footballs and tetherballs. Um, if you came on stage, you could get some tots, and it was just if you're a fan of Napoleon Dynamite, all of that makes sense to you. But like, um, it was just one of the craziest experiences I've had. And all that to say, um, I don't know that I remembered that there's a 5 minute Napoleon Dynamite post-credit scene, like a full 5 minutes that has Kip's wedding and Napoleon in a Fabio shirt riding on a horse. Like out of all the times that I've seen Napoleon Dynamite, I don't think I remembered that. I don't know if I've ever actually seen it or if I did see it, I forgot it. But either way, that exists and that's a thing. That was probably one of the coolest unplanned things in my life, just in terms of fun. So if you get a chance to randomly come across Napoleon Dynamite Live and you enjoy that movie, have at it. It was a good experience. Um, all right. So we are going to do our roll for initiative Bible reading. Now I changed up how we do some of this. So here's what we're doing. We're going to roll a dice. This is a rock, paper, scissors dice. And this is going to choose if we're doing Old Testament, New Testament, or the whole Bible. So fist is Old Testament, paper is New Testament, and scissors is the whole Bible. Okay? So, rock, Old Testament, paper, New Testament, scissors, whole Bible. So we're going to see what we're reading today. All right, we are in the Old Testament, which is 39 books. So we're going to roll two D20s and see what we land on. And if there's 39, we need to be able to roll an extra two. Um, yeah, we'll get there. So let's roll these two D20s first. All right, so we got a 5 and a 16. So 21. So we're going to read the 21st book of the Bible. We'll see what that is. Santana, you better quit playing. That better not be the 21st book of the Bible. Are you that fast? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. No, okay, good. I was like, man, she's so much more gangster than me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sorry, my math is mathing. 1, 2, 6, 8, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Proverbs. Proverbs. We're going to be reading Proverbs. So how many Proverbs are there? There's like 28, right? Or 30? One of them. 31. Yeah, because the whole Proverbs 31 lady. All right, 31. So we need to be able to roll up to 31. So we're going to do a D20 and a D12. Okay. So this can roll up to 32. 25. So we are going to read Proverbs 25 this morning. And before I read that, I'm going to go ahead and move my dice so I can set my Bible down. Proverbs 25. Because I turned my desk weird and I don't have all the space to do all the things. While I'm putting up dice, to let you know, tonight I will be doing a event in Fayetteville, the Nerd Market, in downtown Fayetteville. We'll be there set up for that from 6 to 9 p.m. tonight. I'll be having a yard sale tomorrow morning. Um, Comics, manga, action figures, basically just making space in my house because we be getting stuff that we don't always need. It's mostly me. Um, and want to be able to create space and clear space with that. So Fayetteville tonight, tomorrow, uh, will be yard sale. Then not the following week, but maybe the following week, the beginning of June, I'll be heading to North Dakota to do our Sidekicks Bible Camp. As we're doing a 3-day Bible camp in North Dakota focused on Wonder Woman, Incredible Hulk, and Sam Wilson's Captain America. Um, that will be focused on being aware of our heart, emotions, and things like that, being good disciples and being good ambassadors. So I'm going to be doing that. Um, Coming up, Santana says I have to teach First Kings for a class assignment this week. Girl, you going to kill it. Who are you talking to? You're going to be great. And I look forward to hearing how it goes. Um, so North Dakota coming up, and then immediately after North Dakota, heading to Alabama to do a Bible camp. And then right after that is Father's Day and Heroes Con and all that stuff. So lots going on. with that. So Proverbs 25. Let's hit our Bible reading. For that, I'm gonna grab a highlighter. Cha. Santana, what's First Kings 18? Because that's David and Saul, right? I know I got a Bible in front of me, but like without turning my pages. Roll Tide. I think they are Roll Tide people too, actually. Um, all right, Proverbs 25. More Proverbs of Solomon. Um, these are more Proverbs of Solomon by compiled by the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah. Oh, Santana, you doing Elijah and the Prophets of Baal? Girl, that's gonna be great. I look forward to that. You're gonna kill it. All right, Proverbs 25. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter. To search out a matter is the glory of kings. Um, it is the glory of God to conceal a matter. I love that phrase, just because God sees all of our dirt, but he doesn't expose all of our dirt all the time. Um, a phrase that I heard someone say one time is that the Holy Spirit is a gentleman, is that he doesn't expose all of the dirt that he could, and that he will expose what needs to be exposed, but he'll also show us grace in what he doesn't. Um, verse 3 says, "As the heavens are high and the earth is deep, so the heart of kings is unsearchable." Verse 4 says, "Remove the dross from the silver, and a silversmith can produce a vessel. Remove wicked officials from the king's presence, and his throne will establish righteousness." Uh, when we have impure elements in our leadership, it's hard to lead well. Um, your stepmom says that the Holy Spirit's a gentleman. I hear that. Verse 6 says, "Do not exalt yourself in the king's presence, and do not claim a place among his great men." Do not claim a place. This goes back to me for when Jesus says, "Don't take the seat that's, elevated or whatever. Don't take the seat that puts you in a seat, a position, let people put you there." And I think that's something we all struggle with. I've struggled with that in my muggle world lately. Um, dealing with like job offers and things of like I deserve better and stuff like that. So it's a whole mindset. Verse 7, "It is better for him to say to you, 'Come up here,' than for him to humiliate you before his nobles." Well, yeah, that's exactly what Jesus was saying. Um, what you have seen with your eyes, do not bring hastily to court. For what will you do in the end if your neighbor puts you to shame? Hmm. Whole proverb be proverbing. Verse 9 says, "If you take your neighbor to court, do not betray another's confidence." This is practical stuff. Okay, Solomon. Um, or the one who hears it may shame you and charge you with this charge a charge against you will stand. Like apples of gold and settings of silver is a ruling rightly given. Like an earring of gold or an ornament of fine gold is the rebuke of a wise judge to a listening ear. Hmm. Like a snow-cooled drink at harvest time is a trustworthy messenger to the one who sends him. He refreshes the spirit of his master. Like clouds and wind without rain is one who boasts of gifts never given. Talk is cheap, shut up and dance. Through patience a ruler can be persuaded, and a gentle tongue can break a bone. Hmm. Okay, so I mean, like literally, he's be setting off on this one. Listen, we just spent um, what was it? Almost 6 months of the last year doing a study of Ecclesiastes at church, and I was sick of Solomon, or at least sick of Ecclesiastes Solomon, because Ecclesiastes Solomon is all emo and helpless, and at least this Solomon's got some stuff on him. Um, if you find honey, eat just enough. Too much of it, and you will vomit. Okay. Um, cool, good talk. Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house. Too much of you, and they will hate you. Like a club or a sword or a sharp arrow is one who gives false testimony against a neighbor. Like a broken tooth or a lame foot is the reliance on the unfaithful in a time of trouble. Mm. Like one who takes a garment away on a cold day, or who takes away a garment on a cold day, or like vinegar poured on a wound, is one who sings songs to a heavy heart. If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. Now, little side note for history and scripture. Um, at first glance, if you're not familiar with concepts and culture of that time, um, that sounds like a vengeance thing. That sounds like a punishment. That sounds like, ooh, burn you. That's not what that is. Burning coals on someone's head is literally like a cultural camping thing of that time that you would put like a bowl, a blanket, a something, a barrier between you and someone's head. And if you put burning coals up there, it's like something that will keep them warm, but also even more so, it will cause them to sweat out impurities. And so they would do that for someone who's sick, someone who's ailing, someone who is bedridden, stuff like that, is that they would put burning coals up by their head and it would cause them to like kind of detox. And so when this says that if your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. It's literally saying by showing kindness when people technically don't deserve it, you're helping to bring healing to them and their circumstances and their situation, and to help get the crap out of them. So I think that's pretty awesome. Um, verse 23, like the north wind that brings unexpected rain is a sly tongue which provokes a horrified look. Okay. Better to live on the corner of a roof than to share a house with a quarrelsome wife. Like cold water to a weary soul is good news from a distant land. Like muddied spring or polluted well are the righteous who give way to the wicked. Hmm. Okay. It is not good to eat too much honey, nor is it honorable to search out matters that are too deep. Okay. I feel like that's something that we struggle with is like we spend too much time trying to over search things we can't actually process or apply. Hmm. Like a city whose walls is broken through is a person who lacks self-control. Yeah. It says calm down, Solomon. Yeah, Solomon, I mean, sometimes that dude be swinging. Um, if I were to pick one verse to be my highlight out of this, I feel like the verse 15, through patience a ruler can be swayed and a gentle tongue can break a bone. I feel like that's a good highlight one for me, just for patience and gentleness, because that's always a good route to take and something I can easily apply to my life and my faith. So, Proverbs 25 is where we read, brought you some news, told you what's going down. In a moment, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters, being awesome. All right. Patreon. Alrighty. There's a slew of y'all. Um, we have a new Patreon supporter this week. Cool. Well, technically last week. Alan Wallace. Um, Thank you for joining our team. Alan Wallace, Fab Quack, Rivka and Tristan Birch, Dorothy Martin Winston, Michelle Stewart, Miss Lynn Turner, David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Colin Sproles, Jamie Montgomery, the Coleman family, Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn, Jay Sheed, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Todd Turner, John Jacobs, Zach Harris, Caleb Grimm, Jeanette Skaggs, sorry, I got the hiccups this morning, Jason Bullock, Christina Ray, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis. Thank you all for supporting the way that you do and being as encouraging as you are. If you want to be a part of our Patreon team, you can head over to patreon.com/faithandfandom. Um, but listen, if y'all care, read, listen, do any of that stuff and pray, I am grateful for you. Book 10 is officially out. I'm excited about it. It's nice to hold it. Um, and the one person who's already read it and talked to me was a real encouraging experience with this. And let me see, I've ordered physical copies to be able to have on hand. Um, and my physical copies to be able to send out to everybody will be arriving on Wednesday. So they should be here Wednesday so I can send out to our Patreon supporters that are supporting those ways and to be able to mail them out as group things. But thank you all for hanging out with me this morning. I hope that you have a great day. Thank you for chatting, Santana. It was good to have you in the room. But thank you all for being who you are, for supporting the way you do, and I hope to see you at a con real soon.